It's spooky season, so let's paint a witch. That's what we're going to be doing today. I created the reference photo for this, and you can get it over on my Patreon for free. You don't need to be a member to download the reference, but the reference I created with Magic Media over on Canva. I have a Canva Pro account, and it allows me to play with their AI, and that's the one that I use. And so I put in a prompt looking for a silhouette of a witch in the woods, and I got a few things back. If you saw the thumbnail, you've seen the image that I am going to use as inspiration. But I was going to share with you a couple of the others that I created because it was really hard for me to choose. I almost posted it to Discord to ask my channel members and patrons, which one do you think? But at the end of the day, I went ahead and made a choice, but I am going to change it up, and we're going to talk about how. You can also get a copy of the line work that I created, as I already have this transferred to my paper. I'm working on a 5x7 piece of Meeden 100% cotton paper today. I will talk about all of my supplies in just a moment, but let me get to the desk so you can see these images as well. Okay, so here's one of the images that I created. I went ahead and printed them all out. And I really want to do this one. I may end up painting this. Excuse me. I may paint one of the other two, quite possibly this one. But I think I want to have her hand out a little bit and have a like a crow or a raven, kind of like perched right there on her arm. So yeah, this was one of them. I really liked it. I like the moon. I love the colors in the background. Yeah, this is one, maybe because next Thursday there will not be a live stream. Next Thursday is Halloween, and we're always very busy that day. So next Thursday won't be a live stream. I might do it as a premiere, because if it's a premiere, I can still be getting ready and chatting with you guys in the comments. So we'll see. I'm hoping that I can. It's going to depend on whether or not I can get this painted this weekend and have everything edited and ready to go. So I will, of course, keep you updated on that. If you are a channel member or a patron and you're on Discord, of course, you're going to find out first, because I always keep you guys updated on what's happening there. So this was one of them. And I really, really like that one. This was another one. And I love the orange and blue, the way those colors just kind of pop and play off of each other. I really like this. I'm going to incorporate some of these into today's piece. I also really like the little, it looks like fireflies everywhere, right? Look at that. Now, of course, this is AI. Let's talk about this for a second. AI created this. I don't know what planet she's on that has 2 moons, but clearly it's not Earth, because we only have 1 moon. But in this image that the AI created for me based on my prompt, it gave me 2 moons. So regardless of that, I love these little like fireflies in this. I might incorporate a little bit of that into the painting today, because I think maybe I don't know, I'm kind of torn. I'm really, really kind of torn. Like, I could incorporate some into this one. I'm just like, I want to paint them all, right? I want to paint all 3, but this was what I picked for today. I thought this would be very easy, very beginner friendly to all levels. The brain just stopped for a second, but this would just definitely be easy for everyone. Oh yeah, with a cat. That was the other thing. Like this one here, definitely needs to change the dog to a cat, because it just fits, right? Now, you could put a cat in this one too if you wanted to, I didn't care for this. I wanted to change it, and I wanted her holding a broom because that would be fitting, right? Um, this right here, where it's more gray, I think we're going to bring in some more blues, which was inspired, of course. My papers are sticking together, which was inspired, of course, by this one. I really like this. It's kind of almost like a Prussian blue. I have PB27. That's what I think I'm going to use for this. The color, but like with this one. Yeah, right. Rob, that's funny. Rob says our Joseph Fincham would make the moon look like a skull. Yeah, I think so. Um, I really like a lot. There's a lot of things about this this one that I like, and especially the colors. So because this through here pretty much has some of that same orange, and we're going to talk about the colors that I'm going to use in just a minute. So I think this would really pop if we made our darker colors have a little bit of that Prussian blue versus just this grayed out look. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do with that today. So we're going to change that part up. We're going to take inspiration from the second one. We're going to change this, and we're going to make her be holding a broom. We have the two Joseph Finchams here. Excuse me. Rob says, need to share those on Discord. I will. Absolutely. If you guys want those for use, if you're a patron or a channel member and you want to have these also so that maybe you can, paint something inspired by that, I will definitely share those for you in the reference photos on. Actually, I'll share it so everybody that is a patron or channel member. So whether you're a super fan or up, I'll make sure that everybody has access to that. I'll put those on after the stream. Just remind me and I can quickly drop those over there. Okay. So we're changing this up. She's going to be holding a broom, not this little stick like wand. And we're going to bring in some blue. This is a square format. I'm not painting in a square format today. I am doing a 5x7. So I needed to change how this is going to be. So we're going to kind of open up this area just a little bit more, open that pathway up just a little bit more, maybe bring in some more trees. So possibly some more on this side. This kind of goes right out and I push that towards the edge. So let's talk about how I did that. Again, today I used my Derwent Graphite Extra Large block, the 06 Dark Onyx Dark. That is linked in the description below. And what I just, as I've shown you before, I put that on the back of my paper, took a piece of tissue, and then I rubbed over it to make sure that all of the area that I needed to use as a transfer was covered with the graphite. And I started by positioning my witch where I wanted her. I wanted her at a third, and you can see here's the width of my 5x7 block. So I wanted the witch about a third of the way. So I positioned her there. You see, I drew in a broom. But I think when I paint this, I want the broom handle to be a little wonky, like she made it herself from a tree limb. Okay, so we're going to make that a little wonky, not quite so straight. And I did the line of the darkest tree. I didn't do lines for all of these in the background. I didn't put those in. We're going to paint those. They're background trees. They're not as important. It's not a big deal. We're just going to make them up as we go along. So then what I did was I shifted this over to the other part of my 5x7 sheet. And I wanted to make sure I hit the marks where the edge of the path was. And I did a little bit of this tree in the distance, but I did the 3 big trees. I kind of lined those. So I have some marks there for that. So that is how I did my transfer, and here it is. Now, you see my path is a little wider. We don't have any of those background trees marked in. We're going to go ahead and we're going to, like I said, make them up as we go along. I really like the gnarly, twisty branches. We're going to go with that. Excuse me. And yeah, other than that, I think we can just dive right in. Now, I did take an image of this line work, and I did share that on Patreon. It is pinned here in the live chat if you're watching this live. If you're watching on replay, there is a link in the description. You do not have to be a member or a patron in order to go on and see both the reference photo, this reference photo, and this line work. So it is over there for you to look at for free. Okay. And somehow reason, let me just shift this. I must have hit my microphone again. Sorry for the movement. And we're going to zoom in a little bit. There we go. Okay. So again, today I'm mixing on the same plate I did last week. There's a little gold left there from last time when we did, oh my goodness, the last painting that we did. Our birch trees and, whoops, that one right there with the birch trees. Okay, so if I use any gold, it might be a little bit back here in the path, just kind of a little shimmer, but I don't know. I don't have any plans per se for that. So I'm just going to be mixing on a plate. You can use anything. I really need to find my Meeden mixing palette because that's the one that I prefer. Let's go full screen to the desk. And now I have to shift this again. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Get you zoomed in a little bit more. Okay. For brushes today, I have my Princeton Velvet Touch size 10 round. I have a 4 long round and a 6 long round to get some of the details of the branches. All right. So before we go ahead and begin, let me just say hello to everybody who is here watching the stream live. Hello to Wildflower and Tara and Joseph, our moderators. Of course, they have channels here on YouTube. Their links are in the description. If you have not seen their stuff yet, I do encourage you to check them out. Joseph live streams every Tuesday at 3 o'clock. Same time I do, just on Tuesdays. Hi, George, and hi, Karen. You guys have heard me talk about Karen, one of my plein air painting buddies. Karen also has a channel here on YouTube, Karen Clark Creations. If you haven't seen her yet, definitely go check her channel out as well. Dolphin Soul is here. Rob Younce, of course, is here. Boo Peep. Okay, if I missed anybody, I apologize. I will try to catch you as you continue to chat with us. All right, so to start with, I want to wet this background. And let me see, do I have my... I guess I don't. I'm just going to grab one of my Meeden brushes. That's still kind of small. I don't know what I did with that. There we go. I put it away. Imagine that. My Princeton Aqua Elite 1.5 inch Mottler brush. That's what I'm going to be using. Now this painting, this would translate very well if you wanted to paint this in gouache, or even if you wanted to paint this in acrylics, you could absolutely do that too. I'm going to bring my reference photo back in here so I can see it. I didn't put that up on the screen like I did last time. I could do that if you guys would like to see it. just going to give this wet, and it may dissolve a little bit of my graphite. This is a water-soluble graphite. I should have erased that beforehand, but it's fine. We're just going to go with it. We're just going to go with it. This is a great brush for, I like this one, and I like my Princeton Neptune 1-inch modeler brush. The Neptune holds a ton of water, so it's really good for wetting the background, but that's another really good one. And I purchased mine came in a set. I think a set of 4 brushes, and that was one of them. Okay. Let's see if I can get you guys the reference photo so you can see it on the screen. But, I mean, we're going to be painting some of it a little different, but I know sometimes. Oh, nope. Bear with me. Just like before when I pulled in a photo, it may be large in the beginning. I may have to come in and size it down. So here it comes. Oh, I just made it disappear. Interesting to know I can do that. Now see, this one is cropped a little bit. It's not really the square format. I'm just going to pop it down here in the corner. Hopefully, actually, I'll end up pulling my... You're not seeing the full square format there. And I will just bring my painting down. How's that? Hopefully that's good. Just so you guys kind of see what we're working from. Okay, congratulations to Rob, who has been, and thank you so much, who has been a channel member for 13 months now. So congratulations and thank you so much, Rob. 13 months, that's perfect, right? Perfect number for being in October. And thank you again, Rob. Rob has gifted 10 memberships. So before we get started, let's just go through and welcome the new channel members. You're seeing your name pop up on the screen, or if you've received a message that says you were gifted a membership from Rob, you now have access to our Discord server. So if you have Discord connected to your YouTube account that was just gifted a membership, definitely look, because YouTube is very, very good at giving you access pretty quickly. And when you go on Discord, you should see my server. You may have to go ahead and select to join it. My paper's already sucked up that water, so I'm just going to go over it one more time. But you'll know it's my server. It has the same signature logo as I do here on YouTube. Looks kind of like that. That is my logo pumpkin made for me by Dolphin Soul Creations. Dolphin Soul here in the chat. And you can check her out for all kinds of custom pumpkins, and she's got a lot of really cool stuff. And she is dolphinsoulcreations.com. Okay, so the background, we're going to start out, we need a nice pale yellowish color. We're going to kind of go right in through here, and we're going to bring that out into our blue. So let's grab some PY 150. I'm using the same paints that I had last time. So on my desk, I have my small core palette from my portable painter. I have some My Merry Blue colors here because I really want to use, there's going to be some subtle cool green right back there in near this tree. And My Merry Blues sap green is not a combination of green pigments. It is a single pigment. It is PG17, and it's a much cooler green. So we're going to use that one. I think that will work really well. And then, of course, I have my little pochade box with some of my Daniel Smith colors. So just like last time, I will let you know the pigment so that regardless of what watercolors you have, you can grab the pigment and paint along. Because they are called different things by different manufacturers. So, all right, to start with, we're going to take some PY 150, which is like a nickel azo yellow. Look at that. Such a bright yellow. I really need to like mute this down. And we're going to go ahead and you can grab yellow ochre, which is going to be PY 42. Do I have a PY 42? Yes. I have my core one. I have transparent yellow oxide. This one's not going to be as opaque. And you can see here, like, see how much lighter this is right here where my thumb is? That's My Merry Blues yellow ochre, PY 42. And this is PY 42 that is transparent yellow oxide. It is not as opaque as this. We're going to go ahead and use this one. I want a little bit of that opacity. We're going to mix that right in there. Another thing that I'm going to be using today, and I'm going to grab that right now because I want a little bit of that in there too. Just because this is kind of has like a foggy feel to it, and I like that. So you're going to be seeing me use some Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White today. And I shared with you when we painted the pumpkin in our live stream, this one. We used some of the Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White to mix in with our watercolors to make it a little bit more opaque. And we're going to be doing the same thing today. We're going to bring in a little bit more opacity with the Dr. P.H. Martin's. If you don't have this, no worries. If you have some white gouache, that's fine. And if you don't have white gouache or Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White, you can paint this just with the watercolor. It's fine. You'll just want to really dilute this a little bit more because it's going to be a nice, really light color. So I'm going to take some of my Dr. P.H. Martin's and I'm just going to put this on a spot because I'm going to be grabbing some of that. It's just on my palette. It's over there in the corner. But I set that there. I'm just kind of getting the excess off my brush. There's a little bit in here, and I think that is going to be more than enough to mix in with this. And look at that. Look at that yellow. You see that? So when I take that, if I even go to my reference photo, like, see, it's a little lighter. It's a little lighter than what's here. But I can start with that, and I can always warm that up if I need to, or darken it up. And I would do that with just a little extra. My paint got really soft. There we go. Little extra yellow ochre. And I'm just going right into my pan there. Extra yellow ochre and maybe just a touch more. Not much. It's going to be bright. Right? That's a lot better. That's a lot closer right there. Okay. And again, just all the talking. I want this to kind of be able to fade. Paper's a little buckled, but I know it's wet. But the surface wasn't still wet. It had soaked a lot of that in. It just drank it right up. Okay. Now I'm going to drop this in. right in my center area. And I want it to get lighter as it kind of works out. So starting in that center, and now I'm going to clean out my brush. Oh, that's excellent, Joseph. I had sent you a little tiny container of the bleed proof white. So it's a little tiny one. It was like, is it on there? It was like one of these. So if you have one of these that has white stuff in it and you're like, what the heck is that? That was Dr. Peach Martin's bleed proof white. Okay, so then I'm just taking my brush, bringing my sponge over here so you guys can kind of see when you see me go up this way, I'm just tapping my brush off. And I'm just going to work some of that out. Work that edge, soften it up. I don't have to really go around my witch because she's going to be done really dark, like a black, because she's silhouette. So don't worry about if you paint over her. It's fine. Same with our broom. It's going to be silhouette. I'm going to bring this right down and start it right into our pathway, because our pathway is going to have some, it's going to go from this like yellow into a nice, beautiful burnt orange. I'm just kind of dabbing this around. This can be muddled. It doesn't have to be a perfect smooth wash. Yeah, Joseph, you said that's the one that got all powdery. Literally a couple drops of distilled water. So if anybody has Dr. Peach Martin's bleed proof white in the jar, mine has done it a few times. Right now, mine is really thick again. This will not pour. If I wanted to, it will not pour out. Okay, it didn't even start moving up the jar when I did that. So it's almost time for me to do that again. I'll put a few drops of distilled water in here and I'll take a toothpick or whatever and I'll start, I'll stir that up and it will get back to its consistency because it's kind of thin. So yeah, I've had this be very powdery. So if that's happened to you, Joseph, just add some distilled water and stir it up. It goes right back to the way that it was. All right, I'm going to bring that out. We're going to transition this into our blue. Bring a little bit of that darker back down in here. Okay. I think that will work. I probably mixed up way more than I needed to, but you know what? I'll just bring in the orange that I end up using on the path and mix it right in with that to get where we need to be for like these colors through here. Okay. Now I want to do, see, look at that. I love that blue. This is PB27. It's like a Prussian blue. It is a cooler blue, but that's not enough. We want to be able to darken this up as well. So we're going to take, I just grabbed Core. This is Core's neutral tint. And I grabbed this one because it has PB15:3, which is a phthalo blue. So I know that this neutral tint is going to have that same cool blue undertone in it. So they should work really well together. Except Core wants to push it away. This was the Daniel Smith's Prussian blue and Core's neutral tint. And yes, you can mix and mingle all of your watercolors. It's perfectly fine. And there we go, a little bit more neutral tint. See that? There's my moody blue. All right. So we're still damp. We're still damp. I think I want this a little bit more. I want to bring this a little bit more towards that gray. So I'm bringing more neutral tint. But because I have that Prussian blue, I'm going to stay on the cool side. All right, I have a ton of paint in my brush. just grabbing some water so I can dilute this. All right, I've got too much paint in my brush. I've got to rinse that out. There we go. All right, let's start with our darker at our edges. Oh yeah, that's going to be perfect. Hopefully I'll still be able to see the lines for my trees. If not, we'll just make them up. And that'll be okay too. I don't have to worry about too much down here because that is definitely going to be part of my tree, but I can see some of these spaces in between. And you see, I'm working, like I started with the dark and I'm moving, hitting all these little spaces in between my trees. And with whatever's left on my brush, that's where I'm going to make this transition. I'm just tapping and I'm going to bring it towards my yellow. I'm not going to do too many brush strokes. I will blend them and turn that into green. And that's not what I'm looking for. So again, I'm going to take that darker blue that's near my outer edges. And I'm going to work my way. It's lighter, definitely down in here. Kind of dab that around, bringing it into where my yellow is. Some of it might get greenish. I'm not going to worry about it. And I just clean my brush off, tap it on my sponge, right? I want to soften this edge where they meet and blend. But I don't want to put a lot of water into that space. Yeah, look at, there's our background. Like, how easy is that? We can darken up, put some more. I'm working kind of like a vignette here. It's really kind of light, so we'll darken that space a little bit more. I don't want to go into that puddle. It's really wet, so I'm just going to kind of pull a little bit off the edge, because I don't want to bring too much water. And I'm going to kind of bring that kind of around. We're going to bring branches over into here. It's going to be fine. Again, clean brush, dried off on my sponge. There we go. All right, I'm done messing with the background. I think I disagree. Cadmium red feral kitten. I think I would disagree. I didn't think they were. I do have some. While I'm waiting for this background to dry, this is the perfect time to so I have this one, the Rosa Gallery. These are, want to say this is like the pure pigment set, with the exception of one that says it has 2 in it. I believe it was, yeah, this one. Supposed to be pure pigments, and then they included this one, if you guys remember, which is the cobalt turquoise, and that had PB 28 and PB 36. Is that going to want to focus? Probably not, because there's too much. There it goes. So yeah, remember, I didn't think that had any reason, any business being in there. That could have been done with a single pigment for sure, but either that or it's a misprint on the tag. Either way, it's not right. No, I didn't think they took off. I mean, look at this green though. How gorgeous is that? I didn't think they took off like core. And this is, they have the PG-17 that I'm going to use from My Merry Blue. They have that in there too. So if you have the Rosa Gallery, there's PG-17 in this set that you could absolutely use. If I finish up early and there's time, Cadmium Red Feral Kitten, if you remind me, I will bring that back out and I can show you how they react in water if we have time. Okay. Let's do, while we're waiting for some of this to dry so I can paint in my trees, let's just put in some stuff with the path that's going to have that orange. And so I'm going to come back here. And I think I'm going to grab, let's see what happens if I put a little Aussie Red Gold into this. Not quite there. Now I did use PY 150. PY 150 and PO 48 would be in your Quinn Gold. So if you had Quinn Gold, I'm going to use just PO 48. Just Quinn Gold Deep if you're Daniel Smith. There we go. Look at that. See that? And there's my reference photo, and perfect. That's going to work out just fine. Okay, let's just put a little bit of this in our path here. I'm going to come back with some other colors. This, again, had the Dr. Paige Martin's Bleed Proof White in it. So as I get closer to me, I need to now darken this up. I'm going to desaturate it. I'm going to go back to the neutral tint. Let's see. Just a tiny, tiny bit. Tiny bit. Because that neutral tint, remember I said, has that blue in it. And blue and orange are just going to make brown. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. I'll bring a little bit of this color up here as well. Again, I'm not going to worry about painting over where my broom is, because if we see through a few of the bristles that are going to be in our broom, that's going to be fine. Let's grab a little burnt umber, which is PBR 7 if you're Daniel Smith. And I'm going to take a little bit of this, bring it in with it. So that was our sky color. Just because this is a bit warm, and this will cool it down just a touch. There we go. And if this brush is too big at this point, you can absolutely switch to like a 6 round or whatever's most comfortable for you. Wait till I've used up almost everything that's on my brush because it'll be much lighter. And then I'll go in and touch a few spots up there because I don't need much I'm gonna bring a little bit more of that brighter orange down here. Just a few light spots. See, once that paint is almost all used up, it gets much lighter. There we go. Shadows on our pathway here. And I can even bring, let's get this a little darker, grabbing that neutral tint. That burnt umber, neutral tint. My brush is dry. So this is a very, this is not very wet. You can't see it, sorry. So this is not very wet. It is burnt umber and neutral tint. You see how that, like, it's not pooling. There's not a lot of water in my brush, and there's definitely not a lot of water with my paint. I can even bring this right up this way. You see how dry my brush is? I'm just picking up all that texture of the paper. Okay. I'm going to switch. This is my 6th round. I'll probably do some of my background trees. When I do the real fine branches, I'll use my 4. Grab some of that brighter orange. And remember, this has the Dr. P.H. Martin's bleed proof in it, so it is definitely going to sit on top of some of that brown. You can see a little bit of that coming through. But it's definitely more opaque. Okay. I have a little bit of the orange color showing up on this tree. I see it in the bottom. We'll get there. We'll get there. There's some orange over here as well. Paint was drying on my palette or on my plate. Some of that will be painted over. Okay. This should be plenty dry enough now. It's still damp, but it's not so wet that if I put down a layer of paint, it's going to bleed out like a lot. We'll get some soft edges still, but not too bad. Okay. I think I'm going to come right into going into my burnt umber. Just whatever's left right here. Just mix this together. My trees in the back that are going to be near here, I'm going to bring a little bit of this. Remember that had some of that neutral tint in it? We'll bring a little bit of that into. Just making a warmer, a really light, warmer color to place in some of these kind of trees back here. All right, so I'm just gonna use up what is on my palette. Bring all that together. Okay, and remember our paint is definitely going to dry lighter. So you see this is very wet, very much dilute. Okay, so let's go ahead, see, let's just test. I'm gonna test it over here because I'm gonna get darker trees over here. So if this is too dark, it won't matter. That would just disappear. I think I need to make it a little bit lighter. So some more water. More water. And watercolor if we want it lighter, right? We're gonna go more water. We don't have to go with gouache. However, let's just touch that Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White over here, which is already wanting to dry. Bring some of that in. There we go. That was just a tiny, tiny bit. A lot of water on my brush. Just gonna make some trees in the distance, and those look dark. Again, they will dry lighter, but I think they're too dark. Grab a little bit more of the Bleed Proof White. I want to lighten this up. This is all separating on the palette. I could see the granulation from the PBR7. Still gonna be too light. I'm gonna bring in more. Let's see how that is. I just want a hint of there's trees back there. I want to warm that up a little bit. I'm grabbing the transparent yellow oxide, which is PY42. Just wanted to warm that up just a tiny bit. We're just going to put in a bunch of little trees back there. We want them to look gnarly. Don't give too much thought to these. These are in the background. And really, once we get all these other trees, you're really not going to see those so much. I'm going to switch that up for my Foreground. I want a smaller one, smaller brush to do the details of these little like branches. Or there we go. Just gonna kind of let my brush dance around. Yes, Tara loves trees, don't you? Joking. Tara does not like painting trees. I'm just dabbing. If there's anything that's wet, it's just going to lift a little bit and make them look a little lighter. Okay. Let's step up to another layer forward, and we're going to want some that are a little bit more like, now we're going to get into that kind of grayish area. So I'm going to come back here where I made my sky color. Grab, I'm not going to try to mix with that little tiny brush. I'm going to grab a little bit of my neutral tint. I want to bring it more gray than what my background was. Grabbing neutral tint. A little bit of that background sky color. There we go. Back to my size 4 long round. And again, I'm just going to start over here because I know I have darker trees. So if something is too much, you know, it'll cover it. But there are going to be some trees that we would see through back here. Definitely the same over here. Not yet, but it's getting there, Rob. Do you see how I do my branches? Like I just take my brush, and these are all kind of really like squirrely, and you see how the branches are that come through the middle. Like I really like the look of those, and we're gonna get there with just like taking our brush and kind of let it kind of dance around. I'm not worrying about that. I like dabbed it. Definitely don't stress. Some of these will get tied into the big tree, or the big tree will kind of take them over. Again, we're just doing all the funky branches that are in the background. I'm painting right over where my witch's hat is. I'm not worried about that. She's going to be in, she's our darkest value. Grabbing some more neutral tint. We need to bring lots of water into this. And again, I'm trying to like mix with this tiny little foreground, which is not ideal to mix your color. There we go. Getting just a lot of that excess water out. So I can just pick up, not have too much in my brush at once. Need some that go off all directions. Especially over here, I'm like adding the tree that was on that edge, which of course I can barely see my lines for anymore. It was at the edge of the image, but because I moved things, I stretched this out. I have to create some trees that are back here. So I'm just going to want to have some marks, right? Look like a few. Some of the big tree will cover some of this. Darkening this one up, so I'm pulling it closer. Now, Rob says, who needs lines for trees? So if at this point I had this done and I needed my lines to come back, graphite has a little bit of a shine to it. So if I let this completely dry, once I get all my background trees in, if I let this completely dry, I could then come back with my reference photo and put the lines back in for the trees. I just have to remember exactly where I had it, of course, but I could line that stuff back up and I could put those lines back in if I needed them to paint them. We're just going to wing it. It'll be fine. It'll be just fine. All right, this should be a little darker now. It's not as dilute as before. I'm going to come in and get, oh, wait a minute, I still need a little bit more diluted for this side. The one that's in this background, we're going to have, again, I wish my line was showing, but we're just going to wing it. We're just going to make do. I don't really have to worry too much about this because I made all these little branches. You don't know which one's coming from which tree or where it's going. It's fine. Darkening this one up a little bit more. And you see how my tree got wider than the base? Make sure your base is at least as wide, if not wider, than the top part. There we go. No, Academy Red Pro Kitten. I actually, because I knew I was painting the witch today, I went ahead and put this set on that has the little haunted house and the witches and bats and a spider, and there it is. I had them upside down. Yep. And these are, again, Lillian Fox. And this is If the Broom Fits. That's the name of this manicure. If the Broom Fits. I am loving. It's so quick and easy. Loving their product so far. Okay. All right. Another layer. Time for another layer of trees. This side is going to paint up faster because we just have the one big tree and our witch. So this is going to come later. You're going to see me do a lot more work on this side for right now. Okay. There was actually a lot of, there's a lot of branches back there. Let me get in some more. A lot that we're seeing around. Again, I'm just going into neutral tint. Let's bring in a touch of the Prussian blue. A little bit more water. There we go. It's pretty thin down. And we need it to look like there's a bunch of trees back here, so that wherever our larger trees aren't covering, we're going to see those branches deeper. I think our tree on the edge will cover this whole part, but just in case. We want it to look like woods. Rob says, yes, meaning Joseph is the only one frozen. I am hoping that is what we are saying. I'm not seeing any issues or alerts on my side, so hopefully it's just Joseph needing a refresh. Thank you, Rob. That needs to push behind that tree. I'll go over the other tree again. And again, I am not, I say this all the time, right? This is inspired by this reference photo, and I am going photo similar, but I'm not looking for photorealistic. I don't have to have every single one of these lines of these trees exactly right. By all means, if you want to spend the time, you absolutely could do that. But I'm not looking to do that here today. We don't have that kind of time. Hi, Day by Day, Christine. All right, I'm going to go over this one again because like I said, this I want to be in front of these marks I just made. So we're just going to go back over that. And there, just like that, I brought the tree back in front and pushed those back further behind. I don't like this hard line that I have right there. So again, clean brush, all wiped off on my sponge. And then I'm just going to follow this edge of this tree down. And there we go. Softens that edge right up. There. Okay. Okay. I'll bring this branch into this tree, and now that looks like it's another tree pushed further behind. There we go. I like that. All right, we need another layer because we have 1, 2, 3 trees. This one's not quite as dark. These two will be just as dark as each other and this right here. So the big tree here, our witch, and these trees are our darkest value. We need to get one that's almost that dark. And we're going to bring in some of that green here into the base. So we're going to work this tree up fairly quickly. I want to make sure, I want that to be a little bit dry. I'm going to hit that with my heat tool for just a moment. That's because I want to make sure that's not going to move when I do my tree on top. Okay, 1 second. I'm going to catch up with chat. Okay, that is plenty dry enough. I just needed to make sure that it wasn't, really damp. Rob says his studio assistant is coming over to watch. Hi, Pearl. Dolphin Soul. Just like that. So easy. Now a tree in front? Yeah, I'm sitting here going, how the heck? It's just our values. As soon as we darkened up this tree here, that got pushed much further back. And look at our little trees far in the distance there. They are just going to kind of disappear. We may add some more stuff here before we're done. Not quite sure yet, but I'm making a big tree. I'm not even going for the 6 round. I'm going back to my 10 because I want to be able to put a tree in really quickly. I need to be able to hold a bit of pigment. So we're going for our Payne's Gray again. Again, this is, neutral tint. This is Core's neutral tint. Okay. And we're going to go with the neutral tint. When we get to our last tree and our witch, I think we're going to bring in another color to get this really dark. Yeah, we're going to go, so neutral tint. I'm going to put just a tiny bit of water this time. So this time my paint is so much thicker. It's not right out of the pan. It's still dilute a little bit. So even if I decided to stick with the neutral tint for my last layer, I could take it straight from the pan and get my darkest value up here. Okay. This has some lighter values in the base of it. So if we look at our reference photo, you can see that this tree here, it's almost like we're kind of foggy back there. So one of the ways we're going to get that in this is we're going to put our color in, then we're going to clean our brush and we're going to come back and we're going to pull some of that down. Okay. Let's start. This tree is going to go. All right. I like how it has like these 3 ways that it kind of branches off. If we look at the one that's right here, and then it has another spot at the bottom. I think I want to kind of emulate that. Again, I had this drawn out, but yeah, those lines are gone. We're going to come up this way. start. It's going to go up here. We're going to come off here. Start with the one branch. I'm lifting my brush so that just the tip, the further I go, just the tip of my brush is touching. So that line gets thinner and thinner. I will come back and do branches on this with a smaller brush. Okay, so we're going to bring this down, and you see how this is kind of weirdly thick right here. Don't worry about that. We're gonna put in a smaller branch that kind of sits back here, but we're going to do that with a smaller brush. Okay, so I'll pull that down, and then it kind of has a Y crotch that's like that. All right, and it comes up. We're going to bring it up. Oh, and it looks like it comes off again. I'm leaving that because I need to be able to get it thinner. I still have too much paint in my brush. Again, it kind of hooks right off the page, up that way. All right, and I'm just going to pull back all the way down, all the way down, down my tree. Let's bring another one off this way. And this one's going to kind of get lost back here because our other big trees are going to cover this. So I'm not too worried about where that one goes. But there it is. It lives right there. Bring that down. Now again, I'm going to bring this back to the tree. This tree gets really wide and wonky at its base. And there's like another part that comes out about like that. And it's going to kind of go off behind that tree. I don't even really need to paint that part in. It's just going to kind of disappear back there in the distance. All right. Now, I said we wanted to make this lighter as we came down. I now have less paint in my brush. So when I pull down, I'm getting those lighter values. I want to get that green that I was talking about. And that's the My Merry Blue Sap Green, which is just PG-17. I'm going to put it right here. Yeah, George. Oh. Okay. That's really bright. We're not going to go with that. Like if I went with that green in this space, like it's going to be too much. We want to take a little bit of our neutral tint and we're going to desaturate this a bit. Wait a minute before I do. Just grabbing my size 6 round. A little bit more of the PG-17. And I'm going to go ahead Yeah, it needs to be less, more dilute. We're going to desaturate it with the, that's too green. See how it just doesn't look natural? It doesn't look like it goes with the painting at all. I'm going to bring in this one. Now, and we're just going to kind of drop that in, and it's a little dark. Our reference is not that dark. This is going to be very much wet and wet. I'm just dropping a little bit of this neutral tint. I'm just going to tap some of this in. It'll disperse on its own. I'm not too crazy about that. I think what I want, again, I have my Dr. Paige Martin's Bleed Proof White is right here now. Well, let's bring some of this into the mix. Something that's a little bit more opacity to it. And I did a touch of neutral tint just to desaturate that green. And there we go. I like that a bit better. Because it's not a blot of green. Just like there's a little bit showing you, like we know there's going to be green in the woods, right? There shouldn't be too much. My orange that I mixed before, we had some Aussie Red Gold, some yellow ochre, where's my Quin Burnt Orange, and again, just bringing a little bit of Dr. Paige Martin's Bleed Proof White. Because I want the opacity. This is where it's lighter. I'm going to need to darken this up as I move down. It's not that light. And I'm just kind of popping this in on top. If it spreads out through some of that green, I'm not worried about that at all. Need to darken that up. I'm grabbing some more of the Quin Burnt Orange. Just want to blend this path in. I might need to let that dry and come back over it. That's fine. There we go. Okay. Now, while I have this smaller brush, let's get some of these other little branches I needed. And if the 6 is too big, you can always use a 4 or even a 2. Use whatever you are most comfortable with. Probably should have grabbed the smaller one just because I'm not liking how thick some of those lines are, but it's fine. And let's just work this branch and get some more stuff going on there. Now I went and made that branch thick, so I need to thicken up what it's growing out of. Good enough. Good enough. That's crazy that you guys are having just a couple. I've had it happen to me before on YouTube where it's like everybody else said they're fine. My stuff seemed to be buffering and not working right. Okay, something just happened because all of a sudden it froze. Luckily, I looked up and caught it. So I don't know where that was. It is gonna buffer for a moment. Hopefully, I'm gonna wait before I paint anymore. You guys, let me know. Are you back? So whatever's going on, and YouTube is telling me, oh, it's excellent. You have an excellent connection. So I don't know what's going on with them, but yeah, I had to hit resume on the stream and tell it to push again. So I'm waiting for the chat to come back and you guys to tell me that you can see me again and everything is great. I'm back. Okay, perfect. All right. So, what I was saying, I don't know if it caught that or not, was that you see why these background branches, like, it wasn't that big of a deal. Because everything is going to get pushed so much further in the background, and we don't have to worry about that. Sometimes we worry and spend so much time on some of these things, and it's just not necessary. Okay, so I'm hoping everybody, that looks like everybody's back. Okay, I don't know what that was, but hopefully YouTube has it's squared away. I'm just, when I paint branches, I just look for little nubs where, like, as I was painting, maybe my brush wobbled. Like, see the little bump right here? There's just like a little bump there as it came up. Well, that would be a perfect spot for me to come in, grab where that little bump is, and there's a branch that goes off that direction. Right? And see, there was a little bump right there. So let's just bring a nub off like that. Done. I'm calling that one good. Because again, this is one of our further back trees. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. Let's get some balance, because, you know, if a big storm comes up, this thing's falling over that way because there's no balance on this side. All right, it looks like everybody's back up. Yeah, I don't know what was happening with YouTube today. See, it made a bump, so I'll just take it off of that and go upwards. Really? Oh, that's crazy. Right, because when you refresh, they will play an ad at the beginning, but it shouldn't be playing ads for anybody during the stream. Not if you're here live. I always make sure that my live streams, there may be an ad at the beginning or the end, but there will never be an ad, with the exception of that one time. That was my fault. I hit the wrong button. And then YouTube wanted to serve you guys up ads everywhere. I don't like that. That's one of the benefits of being here live. You can watch it commercial free. Yeah, right. The ads will play without any issues. Okay, I think I'm not going to worry too much about this, like I said, because this big one's getting ready to come right in front of that. And we don't really need to worry too much about what's going on over there. Although I will carry this one off. There we go. Right now we're just adding to what we're going to see behind this up here. And this still isn't even our focal point. Our focal point is here. Okay, switching again. Back to my size 10 round. All right, I need a darker version now of this paint. So we're going to take some of our neutral tint. And I'm going to grab a touch of my Prussian blue. Right, I just want to keep my colors cool here in where my silhouettes are. Cooler. Now, if I didn't bring that Prussian blue in back here, if I just kind of stuck with like a gray like this is, I wouldn't be bringing that blue into my black now, or what's going to be my black. And then I think we will do, this is Ivory Black, PBK 9. Let's bring a little bit of that in there. But it's not going to be straight black. Okay. All right. I really want to see something happening over here, and I'm going to give this a little bit of time to dry. So let's put our big tree in here. Let's make a big bold statement with this guy. All right. Pull that back down into our tree. I think, see, this is where we get to make up this side of the tree. It's not in our reference photo. It is whatever we want it to be. Put another crotch in the tree right there. There we go. I'm going to switch to my smaller brush and get some of the details of the branches like I did before. Again, pulling that down. And I didn't bring that blue down far enough, did I? But that's okay. We can fix that. Audio keeps dropping. Did it drop? I wasn't saying anything for a minute. I was focusing on painting. So did it drop or was that me not talking? And I need to paint louder. It happens every once in a while. I'm not going to go up into my witch yet because, you know, she's the highlight of our painting here. So we're going to bring that in later. All I did was grab some water on my brush here. We're going to put in the ground. Okay, good. Drying so quickly. You can tell that we are well into fall now. Closer we get towards winter and into winter, the more everything in my studio will start drying super fast again. All right, I'm going to just carry some of this dark right into my little pathway here. Help darken up some of the darkest darks, especially in the foreground. I need to mix up some more because this wouldn't be that light. Wow. So far, it still says everything is okay on my side, so I'm trying to make sure I keep looking up and monitoring for that. So I had ivory black, I'll probably need more, but some Prussian blue. And we had the neutral tint. A little bit more ivory black. There we go. So it's not straight black, right? We have other colors in here. turning that slightly. I'm just gonna carry some into my pathway. There we go. There. Let's put some branches in up here. I'm grabbing my 4. Load up my brush. Okay, I'm going to start with some down here. Oh. Just let your brush dance around. I don't like the way that one looks like it's growing out of the tree right there, so I'm just going to kind of bring it back towards the trunk, back towards the main trunk. There we go. And here's what one of the things I was talking about, like right here, there's a little bump down there. That'll just become a little branch. I got this one. Perhaps this guy has one that comes off this way. Again, I did the same thing on this branch. There's quite a few little spots where it wobbled. So that's where we're going to take out some branches. Okay. One. Again, this branch is heavy on the right side. I want to put some counterweight on my other one. Okay. There we go. I'll come back and do that glaze over this edge so that this all blends. So if you're watching this and then you're going to paint it, make sure that you come down low enough when you were doing your background. Okay, again, I need to switch it up. I never mix up enough paint. So we're going again. I've got my ivory black. Some Prussian blue. It still says I have excellent condition or excellent connection on my stream, so I don't know what is up with YouTube today. As far as those who are watching live that are getting a little disconnected. All right, yet again. I'm going to take that. My brush is loaded. I have my nice large 10 round. And I'm not going to start down here at the bottom because, again, I want to be able to pull lighter, right? The path, this has some light in it. So I want a little bit of light still to come through in some of this space. So I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom yet. I'm going to start kind of up here. Now, where this one came over, I'm going to I need to get some of this paint out of my brush first. So first, let's just kind of bring up, and I'm going to go right over this tree, which again, I said some of that would not matter. But now we've just pushed that tree into the background. Pull back down. Right over that other tree. Right over it. My paint is much thicker. It's going to definitely, it's a little darker. All right. I don't know what kind of issue it is, but I wish they would get it fixed for all of our sakes. Again, pulling it back towards the main part of the tree. I just really wobbled that out, so you know that's going to be a branch. Interesting. Sorry, I was doing it again. I was painting so quietly. Rob says there's no buffering on his phone, which would be on a cellular network versus like a Wi-Fi. This tree has a really fun, like it comes up out like this. Let's see if I can get this to come along. And it like kind of cuts back. There we go. All right, I'm gonna rinse some of that out. I'm gonna kind of just pull down. There we go. Pull down some of that color. Now I have some of the lighter values. I like it. A little bit more of my paint. There we go. Again, that was clean brush, really just wiping out a lot of the water out of my brush so that I can then come in. I don't mind this hard line here, but I want to kind of soften the underside of that. Now I need to kind of let that dry. All right, I love the base of that tree. I'm going to grab my smaller, this is my Foreground again. Let's get branch over here. Just kind of comes around. There we go. Thanks, Rob. I only have a few spots. I mean, this is so busy, you can't really see where some are ending, but I did have one end abruptly here, so I want to kind of pull that out. There we go. I'm just looking for anywhere that maybe I kind of abruptly stopped a branch. because my brush was too big. And this one, I'm gonna pull up there. There we go. I had one right here, which these can be hard to follow, which again is why it didn't really matter what was going on there. What time are we at? Oh, maybe by a few minutes. I need to pick up the pace, don't I? So maybe just a few minutes. I am going to finish it. I won't leave you hanging. We won't leave it unfinished. I think I got a little into this tree and lost my way. Okay, so we have our witch and this tree. So let's go ahead and let's get this tree in, because that one's not going to be too much. It's really close to us, so we don't have a lot of little branches coming off of it. So this time with this one, I'm really going with the ivory black. Maybe still a touch of the Prussian blue. This is really warm compared to the rest of it. Maybe a touch of the Prussian blue just to kind of cool down that black a little bit. But no neutral tint this time. All right, let's get this one in. This one's going to come right down here. I'm going to pull that down again like I did up here. Hi, Berlina. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for reminding me. Please remind me again, Cadmium Red Feral Kitten, in just a few moments, because that won't take but a minute for me to show you. I don't see why we can't do that. Okay. Again, just pulling back towards my main trunk. Some of this area now looks really light, but if I gave that a glaze at the very end, this would have to be completely dry. I could darken that up the way I think it needs to be. I'm going to bring it right to the edge of my page. Right to the edge. Now I've added more water, so this is a little bit more dilute. Pull down. I'm going to pull down like as if maybe there's another tree. It's just growing right here off our page. And we're going to kind of pull that down into our pathway. And that will help us connect to this darker part. Darken up the front of in our foreground. Okay. cleaning my brush, getting all that water out. And now let's go ahead and pull down again, kind of like we did for this one. Kind of softening that bottom edge. I'm going to tap it into my pathway. It's got some long roots. They stretch out into that path. I'm going to bring a little bit, it's not really in the reference photo, but I'm going to bring a little bit of that orange up into this. Of course, I'm going to have to mix up more anyways for my witch, so I might as well get that in now. Okay, our witch. And again, that was ivory black with a little Prussian blue. All right, hopefully not putting my hand in that part of the painting. I'm going to go ahead and paint in our witch. Get her hat. Luckily, I can still see my line work for her. And I'm using my 6 round, but I'll end up grabbing the 4 to do the wisps of her hair. This side, I'm gonna have to turn it. Weren't we just talking about running late, Joseph, on your stream on Tuesday? Oh. Happens around here sometimes. go. For all of the community members and above tiers, I will see you for live chat tomorrow on Discord. I need to get a little bit more of this because I keep dipping in my water and that is going to get lighter, and I don't want it to get lighter as we go. There we are. There we go. So we have live chat on Discord tomorrow. That is 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm usually available for a couple hours. It's a great time to pop in, say hello, check in with everybody, see what's going on, share what you're working on, ask questions if you have them. If you aren't a patron or channel member, I definitely invite you to click the links either for YouTube. You can click join right below the video and find out more information on what is offered by tier. We have a lot of fun. Okay, so now for her broom. I said I wanted her broom to be a little wonky, so I'm just going to kind of, I can still very much see that line. You guys can absolutely see the line. So I'm just going to let my brush just kind of get a little wonky with it, as if it were a real branch, made from a real branch. There we go. And now we'll just pull down some wisps for the we don't mind if we can see through a few at the bottom. That's fine. All right, I need to get my smaller brush for the wisps of her hair. Oh, thank you, Rob. I am going to acknowledge those in just one moment. But we have some new memberships that were just gifted from Rob. Okay, ready? We're going to do the wisps of her hair. And on this side. Trying to make sure I do not put my hand in the paint and bring this black paint over to become like to get it in my yellow paint. There we go. There. Okay. I need to give this a dry, and we definitely like, this is really dark, but this is way too light. So we're going to glaze that and darken it up. But I need to make sure this is completely dry first. And I want to bring a little bit of the darker. That is definitely not darker. That is lighter. There we go. Good enough. Okay. I'm gonna let this dry for a moment and let us just Justin says, is it a Nimbus 2000? I don't know. It does have the little crick in the top like one. So welcome to our new members. If you're seeing your name on the screen or you've received notification that you were gifted a membership, again, you now have access to the Discord server. And if you have your Discord connected to this YouTube account, then you should be able to see the server that has my signature logo on it. And thank you so much, Rob. Thank you so much. So yeah, you should be able to see my server and be able to join us. All right, let's just get some glazing, a little bit of glazing done there, and this one is done. How are we going to do that? Well, remember our colors here. Like, see this here? That looks great. This looks a little too light. So how did we get there before? I'm just going to come right here where the dark color we've already been using is. We had Prussian blue, PB27, right? And we had neutral tint. This black will work just fine. If we need to darken that up, we will. Grab some more of our neutral tint. Okay, and again, I am going to hit this with the dryer just to make sure. Yes, cadmium red feral kitten. As soon as we glaze this, we're going to do that. All of this felt pretty dry already. I'm loving the values. We've gotten some on our witch's cloak here. Okay, how do we glaze it? We just are going to thin down this mixture that we just created. Now, I don't want a ton of water in my brush. And I also am not going to want to make too many brush strokes. This paint is really dark. There's a higher concentration of it, and I'm going to turn off our reference photo up here. Boom. Okay. So we don't want to make too many brush strokes because we can pull into this paint that's higher concentration is going to reactivate a little bit easier, and it can kind of get a little murky. So we don't want to do that. We want to just go quickly. Right? Needs a little bit, be thinned a little bit more. Now, as this dries, we're still going to see all of our branches we painted through here. There we go. Just in case, it looks like I had a little bit more blue, so I'm going to kind of pull that all the way to the edge. I'm just barely pulling my brush over the surface of the paper. Very, very light, wispy touch with this right now. Right, but this definitely needed to be darkened up. I'm not going to worry about it as I get into this area. I'm leaving that light. Okay, same thing on this other side. We needed to darken this up. Darken this up. So it can be hard sometimes when you're first putting in that background to make sure you're going dark enough. So if you didn't go dark enough on yours, this is an easy way to correct that. Again, this is a very thin mixture, and I'm not putting a lot on my brush. My brush is not soaked, and I'm just pulling it along the surface. I just painted this witch. She's going to very easily reactivate if I'm not careful, and I don't want to do that. I'm just going to kind of pull a little bit of that in around. Leave it right there. I like that so much better. We got so much more light at the end of our little path here just by glazing in and darkening these areas. And there we go. I'm going to make this one a little bit darker right here on this edge, even still. And as you can see, as this dried, all those branches are starting to come back through. If I need a little bit more, I can just come back. But again, I don't want to make too many brush strokes. I want to kind of get in, put my color down, move on. It's a bit light in here. Let's darken that up a little bit more. There we go. There we go. There. All right, what do you guys think? What do you think of our little spooky season witch? I think like there should be some more like right in the path right here, but I don't know. What do we got over? I'm like looking at what was left here. I'm gonna take a damp brush. So it's damp. It's not enough that I would cause a, I'm gonna cause a bloom on the paper. My water was a bit dirty, as you can see here. And then I'm just gonna grab some of this. Now that that's wet, When this dries, it's going to be quite diffused. I need to kind of, that space is really bright. Oh, don't go over my branch here. Yeah, I'm just darkening up this kind of space between. See, I just put a few more marks there. Most of our light is coming right here, which is also helping to bring our attention right there where she's looking. Okay. Flying monkeys. Hey, how do you know there aren't some perched in these trees up here? Just saying. We don't know. Looks like I had a white spot on my paper. I have a couple little white spots, and I'm just going to kind of just putting in some of the darker values. Okay, I promised Cadmium Red Feral Kitten I would show you. The question was, for those who weren't here when she asked, she said somebody had said that Rosa Gallery whooshes a lot like Core. Did I agree? And I said I did not, but that I would show you. There we go. Okay, I am leaving her alone. I think she's gorgeous. I think she's beautiful. Look at that. I love it. Where will I sign? I might sign right here because this is kind of a gray. I might be able to sign with like a black pigment pen and have that my signature show up, but not be too bold. Or I might even sign like, maybe I'll sign it right in here. Yeah, maybe I'll sign it right there. Okay. Rosa Gallery. Let me grab. I should have. I have my B watercolor paper here. And I have half a sheet left. I have just a half. Well, let's just put our little witch there. Okay. Are you ready? We need Rosa Gallery. Let's see if I can get the same pigment and pigment. Do we have a 122 in here? What is this? PR 122. Perfect. So that is Rosa's PR 122. And this is Core's PR 122. Let's use the same pigment because that's going to be a better... I'm going to move this for a second so I don't put water on it as I do this. All right. So we're going to put down a nice wet wash here because, you know, wet washes, Core likes to run. There we go. So we have a nice wet wash. I come into the Rosa Gallery PR 122. Not bad. Not bad. Same thing. Right? Really nice wet wash. Now, I did pick this color for a reason. This color is one that tends to take off with Core. Ready? Well, now look at that. And it's not fair if I keep pushing that out because I didn't push that out with Rosa. So maybe, Cadmium Red Feral Kitten, I changed my mind. Maybe I say yes. I'm liking the way that that moved more evenly versus the way the core took off. And that was plenty wet. It should have gone. So that was very nice. So in that case, yeah, I think maybe I'll change my mind. What other color do I have here that would be the same? Do I have PO73? Oh, I do. Okay. Here's another one that is the same pigment. I can get that out. So there's Rosa. It's PO73. And this is PO73. So let's just see it one more time. Rosa. Again, nice wet wash here, and this is core. So I will leave that to you, and I will say that, you know what, I've changed my mind based on these two colors. Yeah, the way that Rosa's traveling. Now you notice here that some of that wash pushed back and we've got this little bloom going on here. But as far as like how they traveled and how smoothly they moved into that wash, yeah, I changed my mind. I'm gonna say yes. The Rosa, at least those two pigments, traveled very much like core travels. In fact, I would almost go to say maybe even a little smoother. I mean, that we can't, that's the water coming back from the paper buckling, so we can't count that against it. It went really smooth when that was put down. Like the core goes and it just kind of stops. But the Rosa continues to evenly pull out. Let's look before I put that away. Right? Here's that PR122. So just putting it at the beginning. And the way that it continues to move into that water, I may have to pick up the Rosa paint. I know when I first tried them, my first impression, I wasn't really thrilled with them, but seeing how that moved, yeah. All right, I gotta push this down because it's buckling. I want to see one more time. Nice wet wash, just like I did for that one. PR122 with core. And when I put it down, it's, again, just putting it at the beginning here. It's not dispersing out through the wash quite like the Rosa is. So there you go. Cobalt Turquoise Rosa is lovely. It is, but that was the one I was talking about that in my set of the pure pigments. It says it's the only one that doesn't say it's a pure pigment. I hope that answered your question, Cadmium Red Feral Kitten. You know what? You've changed my mind with that demonstration. So yes, Rosa kind of moves like core moves. This is the one that the other Tara was talking about, and I shared this earlier. This is the Cobalt Turquoise, and mine, this is supposed to be a single pigment set. Mine shows PB28, PB36. So yeah, they could have just done like one or the other, but it's a beautiful color. It's right there. And that's showing more green. It's actually more aqua. It's gorgeous. It's a beautiful color. Beautiful color. Oh, I put that back in the wrong spot. Never mind. It's wet. I will move it later because otherwise I'm going to stick my finger in that paint. Back to this guy. Look at that. I hope you guys found that helpful. Yes. I have a 0.5 uni pin. Actually, I'm going to use this one. This is one of my favorites by Tombow, the Funasuka. This is the hard tip or the soft tip. Oh my gosh, I think it's the hard one. Anyways, I said I would sign right here. There we go. Good enough. Good enough. Yeah, so see, I don't know, Tara, the PB28, that's what I thought it would be. I don't know if the other one is a typo on what I have or not, but there you go. There we have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you will paint it and give this a try. If you do, please post it on social media. Tag me on Instagram. I am at Clark Fine Art. On I'm really not liking that. I'm like, as I'm looking at that, I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm just gonna take some of this and see if we can't make that more. And it's a little dark, so I'm just gonna go over where I painted it. Okay, just brushing over the marks. And we're gonna lift. There we go. Good enough. Good enough. Maybe it needs to come off this way. I went too wide. That's fine. It's fine. Letting it go. Leaving it alone, walking away. Oh, you know I couldn't. It was just sticking out there by itself kind of weirdly. So there we go. There we go. Yeah, it's a beautiful color, that cobalt turquoise. And again, it could be that it's just a typo on my, the one that I got. I'm not sure because it was supposed to be the single pigment set, and it would make sense if it was just PB28. There we go. Okay, there we are. There's the final touches. That's it. Please do check out the moderators' channels, and thank you so much. If you're still watching, thank you for sticking around till the end. I appreciate it. If you're watching on the replay, I appreciate you taking the time to watch. And if you've enjoyed this one, I hope that you will hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed yet, please do. Subscribing lets you come hang out and chat with us in the live chat when I stream. Huge thank you to all of the patrons and members. Your support means the world, and I couldn't do a lot of the things I do without you. So thank you very much. Anybody that was gifted a membership today, please do remember that you can jump on Discord and see our Discord server and join us in the chat and all the things that go on over there. Every tier or membership level has more channels that open up on our Discord server. So I hope you will come by, check it out, see what's happening, and enjoy your membership this month. We'd love to have you. So there we go. Until next time, my friends, I'm going to pop another video up right about there that you might like to watch next. And in the meantime, keep creating. And I will see you in a video really soon.